Dimbleby, that central plank of reporting from the BBC, a name practically synonymous with the BBC, the name wheeled out when the BBC wants to look dignified. Dimbleby tells us that Richard Sharp, the man who was appointed as the chairman of the BBC, should fall on his own sword. It doesn't matter whether he was truthful or dishonest when he was appearing before the Appointments Committee, when he was appearing before the Digital Culture, Media and Sport Committee. The issue is that he cannot now command trust or confidence. There's only one question that will ever dominate any interview, and that is his own private affairs and questions about his probity. And the same was true with Zahawi. The same is true with Raab. They can't do their job. If you can't do your job, you ought to resign. It'd be the same issue with Nadine Dorries had she remained a minister in the Digital Culture, Media and Sport. The issue would always have come down to, did she tell lies? Frankly, I think she ought to now resign as a politician, as should Matt Hancock, because they're more interested in their life post the next election, in their life after being a politician. That's the only thing that dominates them. So the only thing they can answer questions about. They can't deal with their actual job. They ought to get out of this job, as they're no longer capable of doing it. Dimbleby said what Mr. Sharp should do, honourably, is fall on his sword. Even Mr. Sunak no longer supports Sharp. He goes back to the tried and tested formula, we'll not prejudge the outcome of the investigation. Let's wait and 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 wait. Meanwhile, everything can fall to pieces around us while we wait. There's a point where we can't wait, where life actually has to move on. Dimbleby says, I have no doubt that he was appointed on merit on the basis of the available facts. The issue is simply about transparency and accountability. The BBC needs this like it needs a hole in the head, that's what he says. And there's another person, Baroness Wheatcroft, who used to be the editor of the Europe edition of the Wall Street Journal and who sits also on the Digital Culture, Media and Sport Committee. She says he did a favour, she's talking about Sharp, he did a favour for the Prime Minister who was in need at the time when the Prime Minister was being asked to do Mr. Sharp a massive favour and grant him one of the plum jobs in British broadcasting. It simply looks and sounds wrong. It is like an underhand agreement, bakshish, money to oil the works. It's just not, well, we think it's just not British. And she says, even if Mr. Sharp behaved absolutely correctly, it doesn't look right, it doesn't smell right. It doesn't feel right for the BBC to have a chairman who is now being questioned about his judgment. Not only his judgment, but his initial judgment, even before he took office. It is his mission statement, his first impression that is in doubt. And first impressions matter. More than that, he left it so long to start cleaning up the mess, even about the dates. He left it so long. When did he have dinner? When did he not have dinner? What was the actual date when he had dinner? Who cares? In the end, the only thing we register is that he is untrustworthy. I mean, that's the only thing that comes out of this, that we can't trust him. He may be perfectly honourable, but the way he's handled it is not good. Even if he's got an explanation, even about the dates. And she goes on, Baroness Wheatcroft goes on, and she observes that the amount of money is significant. It may be that £800,000 is just chicken feed as far as he is concerned, but to most people who love the BBC, £800,000 is a massive sum. Well, in fact, I disagree with her there. The issue is not about the amount of money, but whether Sharp can ever be trusted in future to talk about anything else. We go back to the issue of the postal order in the Winslow Boy. It doesn't matter whether it was 6 pence or £6,000. He can't be trusted. You know. And while he is at it, his buddy Simon Case needs to quit too. Another man who can no longer be trusted to do the job in hand. Whether he is right or wrong, it doesn't matter. He can no longer be trusted. It doesn't matter whether he was right or wrong. It all looks like yesterday's soiled nappy. And that simply needs to be put in the trash.